Hey everyone, Adam here for EKM Metering. In today's video, I'm going to be introducing our basic 25XDSE electric meter for single phase 2-wire and 3-wire applications up to 100 amps. Let's get into it. So when you receive the 25XDSE, this is what you'll receive. It comes in a white box with a spec sheet. And it comes with some bushings, which I'll explain in a minute. This is it. This is a pass-through meter. So the wire is being measured pass through these tubes, and there's some piercing screws that pierce the insulation of the wires and tap into the voltage. The meter is intended for single phase 2 and 3 wire applications of 120 volts, 1 hot and 1 neutral, or 120/240, which is 2 hots and a neutral. And the current transformers, which measure the amperage, are built into the meter. The meter comes with a spec sheet. It includes more information about the 25XDSE, including installation instructions. We'll include a link in the description below on how to download that. It also includes these bushings. There's 2 sets of bushings, different sizes, and the size is chosen depending on the size of the wire that is passing through the meter. The bushings are inserted and basically are used to center the wire, and I'll show you how that works. To access the piercing screws, you have to remove this cover plate, which is held on by this screw. Line 1 tube, line 2, or neutral, and there's also a neutral terminal. So there's a few ways you can install this meter, and I'll explain each of those. But to pass the wires through, you would first need to back out the piercing screws. There we go. So now the bushings can be inserted. So if you had a small diameter wire for, say a 10 amp circuit or something you wanted to meter, there's a little knob on the bottom that slots into a corresponding little notch on the meter. Just push that in, and then the meter will be centered. You'll notice that the hole is actually teardrop shaped, and that's to center the wire at the bottom of the teardrop so that the piercing screw actually hits the center of the wire every time. And put the other one in, assuming that you have 2 wires to pass through the meter. It'll look like that. Of course, if you had a larger diameter wire, you would use a larger bushing, or even no bushing at all if the wire was large enough for that. For single phase 2-wire applications, there's a couple ways you can install it. One is to have the hot leg pass through the L1 tube here, and have neutral pass through the L2 tube like this. You tighten down both screws, and that's basically it. The voltage in neutral is all it needs to meter. It'll power the meter. The other option is to connect neutral to this N terminal or neutral terminal here. So it doesn't actually pass through the meter, but it gives a reference for neutral to the meter. Again, the meter would be powered and it would be metering at that point. For single phase 2-wire, where you have 2 hots and no neutral, you would pass both hots through the body of the meter. Again, tighten down the screws and the meter would be powered and you would be off and metering. For single phase 3-wire, 2 hots and a neutral, you would just connect the neutral to the terminal 3, the neutral terminal, tighten that down, and you again would be off and metering. The current flowing through the meter can flow in either direction as long as the current flows in both wires in the same direction. The LCD screen will display up to 100,000 kilowatt hours along with the 2 decimal places, and it'll roll back over to 0 after it reaches the maximum reading. Because it's a basic meter, the meter's intended to be read on its LCD display. In order to use that, you would read the meter at the end of each billing period and subtract the previous read from that current read to give you the usage over that billing period. However, it does also have a pulse output, so if you wanted to read the meter remotely via pulse output, you could do that. Those terminals 4 and 5. It is DIN rail mountable. On this back side here, it clips onto 35 millimeter DIN rail. It's compatible with all of our enclosure models, all of which include DIN rail. So if you're looking for a basic electric submeter, a single phase submeter, this is a great option. If you're looking for a more advanced meter for remote reading or with external current transformers, I recommend taking a look at our Omnimeter 1 version 3. You can order all of our meters in our online store at ekmmetering.com. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.